Alright, so now on my second video, I thought I would show you what a disaster this is, because it's not really funny right now. It actually is horrible. Look at the ground, look at the tiles, look at the mess everywhere, just like bags of garbage. Here is where just piles of sand that didn't get used and pallets. These are the few windows left that will be installed hopefully this week. Actually, this big door will be installed. That's a major project that is going to require a neighbor with a tractor, and I don't know, it weighs thousands and thousands of pounds. But this is the part that makes me a little nervous. So this is all the basement floor that they've taken out, window frames, all the old windows, plumbing pieces, garbage bags. And I just kind of think to myself, like, oh my gosh, we're hosting a wedding here at the end of June. Here's our tent that's holding building materials. And because we couldn't get a dumpster in because of the snow, there's drywall here. There's, parts of our kitchen in here, doors, heaters. If you notice in the back, this tent, this is one thing I need to do today, is deal with its collapsed sides and try to get that water out. So also when you have, a foot of snow and it melts within 3 days, you get a flood, obviously, which we're not surprised about. But here's more junk to deal with. Someday it's going to be beautiful again like it was, but I just want to show you what it looks like when it's all flooded up. So here's our walkway in. Usually we can walk all the way to there, and it's cemented. And you can see it's nice and high. That's not a big deal. Here we are on the terrace. The problem here is that this water is actually going under the terrace with floods like this and kind of pulling out the building material and the dirt. This is something that we need to definitely address, because at some point it'll just rip out. So Christoph and Hans built this new terrace. It's gorgeous, but you can see that these tiles are even moving a little bit. I wouldn't say it's not unsafe, but if you do this for too long, if you don't address it, this water is just gonna keep taking it away. But the water is really high and fast. And beautiful. Across the way, the field is flooded. There, some of the water is going across this island, or this little peninsula. I mean, usually these trees right here on the other bank are the edge of the river, so just the fact that the water goes about 20 or 30 feet past that right now shows how high the river is. You wouldn't want to fall in right now. I'm sure it's a cold, cold ride. So spring is my favorite season, and I'm so into it that I notice like every little bloom, every little flower, every little hint of green. And I see the first crocuses coming up here. You can see them there. We've got in the back here some, under this rhododendron here, or azalea, I don't know, some Schneeglockchen. And I just get real excited. We'll have to see how many of these roses survived. I mean, that was a pretty brutal freeze. See if our quince tree survived it. Butch is keeping an eye on everything. And then Hans built this. Well, Hans and Christoph. Christoph built this at our old house. And he and Christoph brought it here and installed it. And then Hans has lovingly wrapped this old rose bush right through it, where it looks like it's been here for 100 years. And it's just lovely. The braces will eventually come off, and we hope to rent that field behind it from the neighbor. and maybe have some sheep over there at some point. It's pretty cute. There's a little shed. There's actually a chicken coop over there, and then a field. So we'll see. But if that happens, this would be like the gateway to the sheep. And then over here is the chicken coop, which we put up last week in the freezing cold. I didn't do very much work on this, I will admit it, but Hans and Christoph did. It's perfect. It just looks like ready for the chickens to move back in. It's perfect. Like, you can see there they have a nice new roof that Hans donated to us in this project, which we appreciate. The store didn't have enough of this clear plastic for the whole thing, so we have one strip of this darker plastic, which I actually think will be nice on a hot day because it will provide a little bit more shade for the chickens. And we kept purposely this azalea bush and some rhododendrons on the side, so that at the end of the day you'll be able to see into the chicken coop, but it's not like in your face. So it should look like it's grown in there. And I'm going to walk to the end of the property and show you what it looks like. As I'm walking, here's the end of the chicken coop, and you can see on this end it's pretty much covered in rhododendrons. So that'll look really pretty in the summer when those are blooming. And then as I go further, this is a little channel. It's actually purposely built here for flooding so that the river has a place to escape back. And the river's not so high right now that it's using it, but it has already. But you can see how full it is. And where I'm walking right now is real mucky, like the river was here. You can feel it in your feet. And you see some evidence here of some water that's stuck. But generally, here's where it's coming to. Oh, it's already lower than it was yesterday when I was here with Annie. So yesterday, the river was about 3 inches higher, and you could not see the top of the fire ring. And today, it's kind of starting to poke out. But it's actually somehow really pretty. And in many ways, I actually like that this happens to our property, because I feel like we can't be in control of it, you know? That there is a higher power, and we live with that, and we live with nature, and we let this river do her thing. So, yeah. It's pretty magical.